Hello patrons and welcome back. Today I have my product focus video and this was the one that was voted. It had the most votes and it was dies. So people wanted to see how to use dies on a layout. So I have some of my favorite dies, some that are more practical like your circles and your rectangles and that kind of thing. And I'm going to be using multiple dies on this layout to show you guys some different ways to use them and get them used. They're sitting in your stash and I'm going to show you a couple ways to use them. So I am going to be using the Paige Evans Whimsical collection. I still have quite a bit of this collection left because I did get it in a Click Kits kit, and I also purchased a lot of this collection before I got it in a kit. So I do have quite a bit. I'm going through the papers right now and I'm just trying to figure out which papers I think I want to use. And I was, just trying to figure that out. So I knew that I wanted to use this floral paper and I just wanted to use it as the background or a matte kind of. And so I grabbed another pattern paper, which is this nice light blue with really, really tiny polka dots on it. Well, actually little squares, I think. Yeah, little squares and polka dots. I don't know. But I cut that down and I'm going to put that over top of the floral paper. I am using my Distress Oxide ink in Black Soot to go around the edges of my layers, just because I wanted it to be a little more prominent than the gray color that I've been using, just because these colors, the blues and all of that, I feel like the gray would kind of blend in with them. So I wanted to use that black. So today I'm documenting this photo and I printed it off in black and white a while back. I'm not even really sure why. I didn't have any specific thing in mind than when I printed it off, but I did print it off in black and white. And I have, or it has Emily and 4 of her friends on her softball team. And this was from last year at one of their softball games before the game. And they're just being silly. Emily has got this big old smile on her face. And so anyways, they're all being silly and I just love it. So I'm going to do some layers behind the photo. I've been working a lot more on my layering. And for me, I just kind of see what works and then, trim it down, or you can trim it, just use your scissors and cut it. And yeah, so here I'm going to use this scallop edge die, I guess, and I am going to go off camera. So I'm going to use that rainbow paper and I'm going to make it, it's a stitched scallop, and oh my goodness, it looks beautiful. And here in just a minute, you guys will see that. I'm going to go off camera and do that to save some time. So with the magic of editing, here we are. So I just put it through my Big Shot and went all the way across that piece of paper, and I did trim it down just a little bit. I don't want it to be the full 12 by 12. I just want it to be kind of a layer and a place to put my title. I've been watching a lot of Shamel videos lately, you guys, like a ton. And so I'm definitely been super inspired by her and the way that she scrapbooks, and I've been taking some of her little tips and tricks that she does, and I really, really love the way that this layout turned out. Right now I am going through the 6x6 paper pad and I'm trying to look for some more layers so I don't have to cut any more 12 by 12 paper. And I'm going to use this ombre pink paper as my very last layer behind the photo. Next, I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges here. So in that Black Soot again. And again, I just really, really love the way that it looks. It just makes it pop off the page. And so I'm going to do that with all of the layers. And that's what I'm doing right now. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this butterfly paper, and I'm going to use one of the circle dies, and I'm going to cut that. So there it is. There's the circle. That's another way that you can use your dies, is to get perfect shapes, circles, hearts, squares, rectangles, triangles, that kind of thing. I would say you can kind of use your dies on layouts kind of the same way that you would use your punches, but more than likely they're a little bit bigger. So I am loving the way that this layout is coming together. I am going to cut that circle in half because I am going to only see half of it. So I'm just going to put it right there behind the layers just to add another little something. And now I'm going to pull out these dies, which here's another way that you can use your dies. And this die set is from Catherine Puller, and they are 3 of a kind dies. And this also has a stamp set. So I'm going to make my title out of this. So this is another great way that you can use dies. I definitely could have just used the die, but I'm going to use the stamp because it's a really, really gorgeous stamp. And I love this. And I've actually used it recently on another layout as a title, but there's so many little words that go with the word kind on this stamp set that you can really build your own title here. So I am going to again go off camera and cut that out with the dies, but I'm also going to cut 2 layers of pattern paper that kind of shadow the word kind, and it's really, really cool looking once it's done, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. So in just a minute that will be done as well. So I'm just going to use the one to cut out the actual stamped image first. And I did stamp that out in Catherine Puller ink, and it's called Sauna. It's a nice deep yellow. It's really, really pretty. I like the color yellow that it is. It's more of like a mustardy yellow. So there it is, all cut out. And I am going to ink around the edges a little bit because I did not get it perfect. And there's a little bit of a white on some of it. So laying it down over top the stamped image can be kind of hard because you can't see through the die. So yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going around the whole image with the ink and an ink blending tool. So now I'm going to take another or a piece of that pattern paper, that rainbow pattern paper that I used for the scallop border, and I am going to cut the next layer. And again, this has 3 layers, which is really, really cool, and I am so in love with it. So the next layer, the one that's going to be directly behind the word, is going to be more of a solid, it's more of a solid color. It's just like a dark pink, but it does have a little pattern on it, but once I glue the word down to it, you really can't see the pattern that much. It's just a little bit of a tiny shadow. And then you have that, the bigger shadow behind it. So now I'm going to glue that down, and I'm using my Nuvo glue pen. I don't know if they have a certain name. Nuvo Smooth Precision Glue Pen. Yes. I like this. It works really well. You can just like do little dots, or you can write with it, and it works perfectly. So it's very sticky though. So if you get it on your fingers, it's really, really super sticky. So be aware of that. But that's a good thing. That just means it's really good glue. So I got it lined up, and I glued it down to the next little layer. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing and glue it down to the very last shadow layer. And again, so that's another way that you can use your dies. So you can use your dies for titles, and you could have just cut it out without the stamp. So if you didn't have a stamp to coordinate with the die, if you just had a word die, that's definitely something that you could just do and just use just the word die and build around it with other stamps that you might have or other dies that you might have. So that's a really, really great way that you can use your dies on your layouts, is to build a title, excuse me. So shapes, again, I'm going to go through the different ways that I'm using on this layout. So title, build a title, shapes, Definitely could have went in a different direction and did a whole bunch of circles. And with the dies, usually they're nested, so there's all different sizes. So I could have done all kinds of different sizes and done that. And then you can use them for different layering pieces or borders, which is great. So the title is going to be You Are Kind of Amazing, which is really a great title. I love this stamp set and this die, obviously because the die cuts out the word kind and it just looks really pretty. But the stamp set just, it's amazing. Like, you can build all kinds of different sentiments or titles around this stamp set, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite. I've had it since, I want to say like November, but I've just recently really started using it and I love it. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere that kind down, and I kind of just have it overlapping with the rainbow border. And now I'm going to go in from the sticker book and I'm going to go ahead and start embellishing. I am going to bring some banners up at the top left hand side just because I needed something up there. It's a little bit plain Jane for me and it's too much blank space. And I'm going to have kind of a little bit of a visual triangle. Again, I've been watching a lot of Shamel, and you can definitely tell, I think, with the paper layers and the visual triangles. And so my triangle is going to be at the top left hand with the little banners over on one side of this circle right there where I put that heart, and then the title. And I'm just going to do a couple little clusters. Well, actually, no. First, I'm going to put kind of like a little, not title, but subtitle possibly, I guess. It's just going to say Thunder 2018. That is the name of their team, Thunder. The girls came up with that, and I think it was because of that song, the song that was out last year that was talking about thunder. I can't remember what it was called yeah, now I can't think of it to save my life, but that's what they came up with their team name because they were a brand new team. And yeah, so that is going to be like the subtitle, Thunder 2018. And I'm using the tiny little like rainbow alphabet that is in the sticker book from this collection. So now I'm looking at the chipboard stickers and I'm going to pull a couple of the little flowers and stars off to do a couple more little embellishments with my clusters. Yes, I love this layout. It's so fun. I really enjoyed using my dies, you guys. So thank you for voting for dies because, yeah, it was really nice to use them on a layout. So I'm pulling out some of the butterflies from the ephemera, so die cuts, and I'm just kind of folding or bending their wings a little bit to make them look dimensional, and then I just glue their body down with some liquid adhesive. And that is pretty much my layout. I hope that you guys enjoyed this product focus for the month. Don't forget that the live scrap and chat will be this Friday coming up at 7 p.m. So make sure that you guys set your alarm, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I do have some new patrons. So welcome to all of the new patrons. I'm so glad that you are here and part of this community. I hope that you guys are having fun and looking around and looking at all of the things. I'm going to add some enamel dots to those little clusters, and that's it. I hope you all have an amazing day, and don't forget to spread love and be kind. Bye.